That's a difficult one because everybody knows how to play Inferno these days.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the sort of thing that worries me for Sprout's case, because they are, in general, the favourites in this entire bracket. They'll be the favourites in this lower bracket as well, without a shadow of a doubt. And if they don't make it, it would be a big, big underachievement, because we've seen it in the past as well, that, you know, it's the team that we really should have made it through to Pro League already, but they still haven't made their debut yet. So let's see how it goes. It's now time for us to get into map 1. It is Vertigo, it is Endpoint's pick. We have the utility. As we can see on Heavy God and Mighty Max already, the P250 will get a lovely opening tap towards XELLOW.
Yeah, New Boy put down on the ground very quickly there. XELLOW, welcome to the server. As it's already a very good start for Endpoint. Now, just going to pump the brakes a little bit, slow things down as Staehr wants to take first contact. Might be a little bit of a gap in that smoke for him to work with, but he needs to be careful. Great flash to come through, but he's still dancing with the devil a little bit and he'll fall back.
That's the only choice, really, in that scenario. Will get himself a couple of kills, though, and Zyphon doubles down, triples down with his lovely USP. How much you can do about that. Bomb is, of course, dropped on the ramp as well, and honestly, the question now has to be, where do you go from here? MHL has managed to recover it, so that is something, and he is rotating back over to go and help out NertZ. And NertZ has pushed forward toward the back of the site, maybe a bit quicker than lauNX is expecting. Zyphon still alive, looking for the ace in this round. lauNX, though, will go for the opening frag, but NertZ, in that advanced position that I mentioned, will get that recovering kill. 2v2, and there's NertZ showing up again. And out of all of that, unexpectedly, it's Refresh 1 versus 2. Looking for the frag, but NertZ just recovers the situation immediately. And already we're seeing the star power come through, Neo.
And this is exactly what we were saying. If you allow players like NertZ to start feeling it, to start getting, you know, the juices flowing, so to say, that's when you gotta get worried, because this guy is an animal. And I will continue to happily say this. NertZ is one of, if not the best entry fragger in all of the tier 2 space. I don't care, I'll always debate that and I'll always win it, because I'm never backing down. The guy is a god when he steps up, and there's a bit of that magic stepping through. 3 kills for him, and when you thought Zyphon's 3k was enough, NertZ had other ideas. Great start, but of course, for Endpoint, this means a fairly decent buy to work with, but it's not actually too bad of it towards Sprout. An M4A1S in the hands of Staehr. XELLOW's got himself a scout and a few pistols around it. We've seen these sort of buys work.
Absolutely. This is not a certainty whatsoever for Endpoint to convert that pistol. Did a great job at recovering it after Zyphon's 3k, but in the end, all NertZ to bring it back into their favour. They're going to take the B stairs with a couple of flashes, but as it stands at the moment, they're not going to be pushing or committing to anything too quickly. They've still got 4 smokes available of Endpoint as well, which indicates that walking back toward A, as they are doing, probably would be the smart option. Means they can block off XELLOW, who's already low HP anyway, whether it's toward Connector or toward CT, and MHL just pre-fires him anyway. M4 is in a very good spot here, and the Molotov has not been used to flush Staehr out. It's been used toward that gap position instead, so there could be a couple of free frags here for Staehr. He's shown his hand for the wombo and will stay defensive as to not lose that rifle immediately, just proving to still be an issue, and that could bait Refresh in here. The 5-7 close range, we know how good it is, and he gets himself the 1 kill towards Surreal. Superb stuff, and now a man advantage for Sprout with 20 seconds to go. Where do they go? I'm not sure.
Never count out a 5-7, honestly. Staehr would have been hurt there. Surely, Max, be careful. They're all too aware, but will it make a difference? No. Both fall to the hands of Staehr, lauNX. We said what the youngsters can do. Can they step up? And NertZ needs to, but unfortunately, not to be this time. We said you have to be scared of those sort of buys, because we have seen them converted so commonly. And there's another prime example. What a round. What a step up once further. Staehr. Bit of a cork of a round from him as well. Really stepped up to the plate when we needed to. And, well, maybe the likes of, you know, XELLOW not finding as much impact as he would have hoped. Overall, really good round to kind of tie things up. And, well, on top of that as well, leave Endpoint in a relatively rough situation. Look at that economy. Just a couple of pistols to work with. Not fantastic. It's a full investment. This is going to be the case, right? It's the battle of the force buys for a couple of rounds until one of them has a broken economy. But, you know, if Sprout can do it, so can Endpoint. Oh, unless Staehr's got ideas.
Yeah. Sprout will know, of course, having recovered a couple of AKs, and now they've got the 2 M4s of their own, that Endpoint, having lost the force buy to Sprout, they'll know that Oh, okay. Even the long-range spray Staehr gets away with. Tasty stuff. Left with 1 HP to spare. But yeah, as I was saying, as Sprout win the round with 4 players alive, good for their own money. The force buy battles tend to go on for a little bit longer than that, usually. But in this case, Sprout have hit back immediately. And, of course, Endpoint's re-force buy is not going to get any progress at all. So full eco confirmed for them. And that round that basically Staehr won all by himself, just keeping himself a nuisance towards the sandbags. Such an issue when you can't figure it out. You can't deal with him without that Molotov that I said they used before they realised Staehr was there. Come back to bite Endpoint in the end. And this is the perfect start for the German organisation.
Yeah, that's it. Now for Endpoint, they're in a real kind of tough predicament. We kind of look towards these buys as, oh, hello, XELLOW. Hello, XELLOW. Loving this. Just going to push down forward. Easy opening kill for him, and the information you can get off the back of it too. He knows they basically have to force their way over towards stairs or mid. It's one or the other. There's nowhere else for them to be. And it's just a meat grinder of mid for Staehr and a 4K. What they're on. What a see-off. Endpoints. Unfortunate. Just pistols, but having 0 impact. But back to what I was saying, one of those sort of rounds, you look towards them, and for Endpoint, it's essentially the attack pause, isn't it? Right? You know, bit of a time to have a little conversation. What are we going to do when we next have our full buy? How can we make it impactful and start to actually at least make it a bit of a competition? So far, Sprout are looking very confident. When you have the individual stepping up, I mean, for God's sake, Staehr is 10-1, Trav. The guy he's feeling it right now.
Exactly. This is what we expect from him, right? I mean, in general, I myself, and as I'm sure many other people, have all been singing the praises of lauNX. Maybe not talking about Staehr as much, but realistically, they are both as good as each other and will be around in the Counter-Strike scene in Tier 2 and maybe Tier 1 one day, as they should, for many, many years to come. Oh, I was about to say, apparently there's a chance for them to split through mid here, and HeavyGod gets a beautiful spray transfer to get 2 kills. Now lauNX is under a lot of pressure. 2 players pushing him down from that mid position, and he can't even get the one. Surreal's headshot was superb as well. 2 from him, 2 from HeavyGod, and the round is already out of Sprout's hands.
My God. You know, I think while we were talking about the likes of for Staehr, right, a lot of people would look towards the lauNXs of the world, because I think lauNX maybe has a little bit more of that superstar power, but Staehr is so consistently good. So it's sort of a case of pick your poison. I think both are unbelievable players, and some teams, and I think actually probably the vast majority of teams, actually prefer a Staehr-like player. I think, you know, we know Astralis were kicking around looking for him, and Sprout thankfully said no. But you know, for me, Staehr's the type of player you look forward. He's so consistently amazing at such a high level, and he very rarely falters, where, you know, occasionally we do see the likes of a lauNX maybe, you know, quieten down just a little bit. But on the other side, HeavyGod, I think a lot of people, you know, when they saw the pickup, maybe were thinking, you know, who is this guy? Why are they picking up this person? There's plenty of free agents around. There's plenty of Tier 2 players they maybe could have picked up, and not understanding that Endpoint have a very good history at finding Tier 2 players and diamonds in the rough, but Zyphon for 2, lauNX, one of his own.
Stuff from Zyphon, just calmly tapping away with the silenced M4, hitting those headshots on the headshot angle. Not much to aim at, but he hit it. That leaves HeavyGod and MHL 2v4. Was a quick issue with our in-game sound, but I do believe we have that sorted for you now, guys. So don't worry, we're on that one for you. Do not panic. You're in good hands here, and I think Sprout are going to be in good hands in this round as well. Zyphon's done his job, got his 2 for 1. Now it just leaves Endpoint to basically go for some solo plays toward mid. HeavyGod and MHL. Not good for HeavyGod. Once again, trying to make the path through mid and up through the B window, and XELLOW just peeks it at the right time. And yeah, seeing XELLOW play well is something that I really do want to see. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm biased at all, because, you know, we've got to have some love for our UK boys on Endpoint as well. But Endpoint... And these 2 teams are actually 2 of my favourite Tier 2 teams to watch in general. Staehr finishes off the round, so it should make for a very exciting series. And XELLOW, as I said, I mean, he's played on Nexus in the past. I even remember, even probably 2 years ago at this point, casting him on Nexus in some online cups. And of course, he had that little stint on loan at Ecstatic as well, where he really had a couple of superb performances at the upper echelons of Tier 2 in events like Repub League, for example.
He has some big boots to fill as well. I always thought that Wolfie was such a good AWPer for Ecstatic before, you know, tries to have a little bit of a break. And to try and fill up kind of his firepower and his star potential that Wolfie had back in Ecstatic was difficult. And Zeller did a really good job of exactly that. Hence why a lot of us who look and watch, cover the Tier 2 scene know how good Zeller is. And a lot of people, you know, they saw the signing like, okay, you know, Sprout may be kind of pushing the boat out a little bit here, but if you're in the Tier 2 scene, you know how good this guy is. He can really step up to the plate, and we're starting to see glimpses of it.
Indeed, and this is the kind of level that we want to see that for so long, right, as well. Like, he was absolutely insistent on playing with his countrymen in Nexus, waiting for a good opportunity, and I think really the fact that lauNX was on this team was obviously a big draw for him to join up with him, old teammate, to see what they can do at an even higher level under the tutelage of Refresh, of course, who has that S tier experience. 1 kill for Endpoint in this round with those Deagles. Only NertZ to get that 1 kill, but he's got that AK, and with 2,450 in the bank, I know there's 35 seconds to go. If he's this low HP, it's actually not beyond the realms of possibility that he saves this one, because you can still buy up the full utility. Would not be the end of the world as long as he doesn't get pushed and dies after time. But at this stage now, there's not really any need for Sprout to push because they've got their own economy to build up.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I mean, that seat-to-side economy significantly more difficult to have stable. So I think for Sprout, there's no real need for a hunter. They don't mind having NertZ and an AK in hand. I mean, he'd be able to buy one regardless into next one anyway. So it's not going to make a grand difference to the firepower in towards this next round. So they're chilling. Couple seconds tick over. NertZ will keep that AK in hand, picked up off the corpse of lauNX. So for Endpoint now, full buy once again. They are in desperate need of kind of breaking the deadlock a little bit here. They need to be careful not to let this one slip too far away. Remembering, ladies and gents, this is Endpoint's map pick. They need to put up a bit of a stellar performance, especially in the first half, just to get that ball rolling if they want that confidence then heading on towards the CT side. And one thing that really could help is MHL picking himself up into an AWP. We know what this guy can do. The young Polish AWPer has been, you know, in the limelight for quite a while as kind of someone to watch, right? 20 years of age, and he's already had some stellar experience. Played Pro League of AGO, Mouse NXT, won the We Play Academy League. I mean, his repertoire at such a young age is already very, very established. And I think now it's his time to prove it in Tier 2 and against these sort of caliber of opponents. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's time for Endpoint as a group to step up, of course. And I mean, in general, this team has the experience, doesn't it? I mean, this is the one organisation, if I'm not mistaken. Right, I'm actually going to get onto that point in a second because this smoke's pretty interesting. lauNX playing around the edge of it. That grenade does so much work. Does he push any further? NertZ has a tiny gap on the top right where Zyphon could peek from, but I don't think anything will be happening for a second. But yeah. Endpoint, of course, were in Pro League last season, famously beating Na'Vi. That was one of the biggest upsets of the year. And lauNX should get this free kill toward NertZ here. In the end, Zyphon's the one to take it, all the information gleaned. But yeah, Fours, of course, have been in Pro League once before, but not with the core they currently have. So Endpoint are really the only team with previous proper Pro League experience. Yeah. Sprout looking for their debut. And as the favourites, they really should be taking this, but you never know. Losing to Eternal Fire in the upper bracket was not something we expected, especially in the fashion that it happened. Eternal Fire looking genuinely decent. Xantara is still on the form that we all know he can produce. It'll be fascinating to see who takes the one slot out of these 4 teams remaining. Refresh holding from connectors. They creep toward mid. Heavy God on the line. Shoulder peeking coming in. Refresh only going for info. He now will get smoked off, and Heavy God can push forward into CT.
Got surely in for one here. Maybe a second as well. Another like this, quick flick, finding a headshot, Heavy God to fall. Numbers now favour Sprouts. Max might have a bit of timing to work with, playing around the smoke, bomb in hand, but 20 seconds on the clock. They're going to pull the trigger now.
Yeah, I like this, because they can go through and try and catch out XELLOW. Now it's an awkward sword battle, and in the end, the no-scopes both miss, and MHL finishes off the kill. Staehr still hiding towards sandbags, but they clear him out beautifully, and the bomb can go down with 6 seconds on the clock. It's a brilliant clear from Endpoint, making sure every basis and possibility is removed for that bomb plant to be denied. And now Zyphon has to go in alone against MHL. That's never going to work. 3 kills for MHL. lauNX 1 versus 3, but of course he is very low. And there's still a player sandbag story about. That is surreal. In the end, only the 1 kill to write home about. Good third round from Endpoint. That was really well recovered.
Yeah, that's a really good round from MHL individually as well. If he falls there to XELLOW, I think that round goes completely the other way. So, great reactions from him. We said what this guy can do with an AWP, and he steps up with a big green in hand. 3 kills to his name is enough for Endpoint to see themselves into a third round and start to slowly not only chip away at that deficit, but the economy over towards Sprout. They themselves need to be careful. Long term, not looking great. XELLOW, that's risky. NertZ have the ideas, but can't quite make it a double.
Oh, yeah. Always know that, you know, AWPing in general, CT or T, is probably Vertigo is one of the hardest maps to multi-fragging on. Getting these opening frags, and you see MHL going for that one there, but can only tag Staehr through the top. Heavy God does get his 1 kill, but lauNX is still close up. Unfortunately, he's not going to peek soon enough to take Heavy God down. So it's another round that looks significantly in Endpoint's favour. They have to be lauNX or Refresh to recover this one, and Refresh is holding a very, very aggressive off angle, but Surreal just destroys him. And now, Sprout, even though they can hear everything, they don't have the health to fight back. It might have to be a save with the 2 young guns.
Yeah, that's probably the right call. I mean, that money is not looking good, dwindling. lauNX there. The B rotating back to their home ground just to keep those M4s ticking over. They cannot afford to let these fall. And I think on the other side as well, Endpoint, they don't really need to go hunting. I think that'd be quite risky. Maybe if you really want to push the boat out, send Max. You know, because they'll be able to afford a drop in towards the next, and he's got the kind of the most HP, and not as much of a risk in a sense. But aside from that, Heavy God is on a little poke around. He's got 28 points of HP to work with. That does need to be slightly on the side of caution. I think overall, should it be spotted out or farms are all good. Fourth round for Endpoint. Within reaching distance now at 5-4. Very hotly contested. Start to map number 1 here. These two sides, slightly inseparable. And this is what we would have hoped as well for a lower bracket semis with, you know, everything to do. A bit of a do or die, I guess you could put it. This is a really, really decent start and some cracking CS so far. We've seen a couple of individuals really shine. Staehr, of course, has to be mentioned. 12-3. He's been farming just a little bit on the other side. I guess, you know, a couple. We've seen a bit from NertZ, bit from MHL. Star Power shining through from the 2 you'd expect it to.
I have to remember, of course, that 3 of NertZ's 6 kills basically won the pistol round single-handedly for Endpoint before they got immediately forced brought back from Sprout. And that's really what got Sprout up and running in this CT side. Yeah, those 5 rounds. But Endpoint, as you say, fighting back well. And it's been a good team recovery and performance, especially that round where they came through that connector smoke in mid. And managed to deal with Staehr still hiding towards sandbags. If he could stay alive for any longer in that previous round, then this would have been an easy bomb plant denial from Staehr. That's all ifs, buts, and maybes. Sprout, bit of a dollar short in this round. Refresh only on the Deagle, and 2 FAMASs in play as well. Endpoint, all 5 players on the B stairs at the moment. They're going to be going in aggressively. Heavy God tagged down, but lauNX has been tagged too, so he has to fall back. Basically gives the site up. Well, Endpoint's going to plant. There is a boost possibility here. There's a player to his direct right though, and that's the problem. Look at NertZ. He's sprayed through the smoke, and in the end, Heavy God gets all the kills anyway. He removes both lauNX and Refresh. And XELLOW and Staehr are going to have to fall away.
That's a really good round once again. The entries are clean. Heavy God continues to live up to the name Godlike. Really, really good work. And of course for Sprout, it has to be that safe call. Especially XELLOW. AWP needs to be taken over. The buy-in towards this next round is going to be pretty brutal with Endpoint. There's a very good opportunity for them to not only now, of course, tie this game up, but extend a fairly decent amount of a lead, right? I think we're going to be seeing them go up to the likes of 6 and potentially even 7 rounds, right? Before we can see a proper full response from Sprout. XELLOW will find one on the exit. NertZ does go poking about at the cost of his life. But overall, not too bad. 4 men alive for Endpoint, so they are completely chilling for the time being. We're all tied square, though.
Bing chilling.
Yeah, they are being chilling. And we're tied square on the 51 floors of Vertigo. 5-all. Over towards that CT side. The buy should be basically minimal. All trying to stick around that 2K marks. They have money to work with to number 12. So they're going to have to try and find some viability off the back of what is just an AWP and an AK and maybe an upgrade around it. A slight one is, yeah, Zyphon just pick itself up Vertigo. Aside from that, there's very little for them to work with. It's going to be a tough round.
Yeah, how do they get the AWP and the AK into the action? That is exactly what they need, and XELLOW now realizes that going aggressive in a round such as this is so important because they're going to have no chance in it otherwise. Of course, he is going to be wary of the fact that money is not in a state where you can really rebuy an AWP into the next round, so he can, while he wants to play aggressive and try and win this round single-handedly for his team, he also doesn't want to lose that, because Endpoint's money is being built up really well at the moment. MHL is up to 8,850 now. So they will hold toward gap and hold it aggressively as well. He's locked away because of this Molotov, but he does have time to hop through it. Good opening find. Neil can continue to stay really advanced as well. MHL is behind the crane. You can see it in XELLOW's peripheral. I'll hear the pot shots coming in from MHL as well. Molotov toward double stack will burn refresh out of that position, but it's only that USP. And you're not going to expect XELLOW still there. Misses the shot though, and that's a great frag from MHL. MHL versus XELLOW is a duel today that I was really looking forward to seeing. Already we've seen some great bits and pieces between the two. They find Staehr perfectly, the only other threat in the round. lauNX on that big flank. He's not going to get anything done here. Again there, look at the kills. One across the board. A great team round.
It is. MHL might find on exit, and he will. lauNX, just the USPS for him to work with. Not going to find too much success, but you hit the nail on the head. It's been a really, really solid performance so far from MHL, and especially comparatively to XELLOW, right? When we've seen those two fight off against each other more often than not, MHL's finding that pick, and that's really going to set the tone, because a lot of sides actually don't like AWPing on the T side of Vertigo.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of pro players actually prefer to just play 5 rifles because of how difficult it can be at times to make that AWP on the T side of Vertigo work. So the fact that we're already seeing MHL step up and look confident, look comfortable AWPing on T side does look, for me, you know, very positive that we can see some magic in towards his CT2. What a shot. lauNX poked the head and he beats a bullet to the skull.
No chance for lauNX there. He would have thought he was safe falling back, but MHL's deep angle really caught him off guard. XELLOW again trying to play super aggressive to recover the situation, but Surreal is so aware of the gap on the cut side of the smoke. But XELLOW takes advantage of that gap and gets one back for his tally against MHL. Battle continues. 4 versus 4. Sprout have no defuse kits in this round, which is the big issue. If Endpoint do go for the full execute, and XELLOW all up close, he actually quick switched at exactly the wrong time there, but he recovers for a sick no-scope. And now, 3v4, I think NertZ may have seen Staehr on the back of the site. Not sure, of course, whether Staehr would have seen anything, but now, of course, knows there's at least one player there with that smoke being deployed, the little one-way on top of the pallet.
Brakes pumped.
Yeah,
just a little bit, right? I mean, for Endpoint, they're in a position where numbers dwindling, and a good opportunity for them to extend their lead as well. They've only got 25 seconds to work with. It's here or now. Molotov will come through as well. They might even get to a point where if they lose one more player, they might just call for a save.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because you wouldn't want to save in a 4v3, but without a kit, that's the big issue, like we said. So, Heavy God's flanking as well, and Staehr's been removed. XELLOW needs this one and does take it, but he's been tagged down so low. Max and NertZ. NertZ has recovered the AWP actually, so he's going to be holding from sandbag. Such a very difficult position to flush out. In and after plant, and Max goes aggressive to take Zyphon as well. XELLOW is unbelievably stuck on low HP. And Endpoint are really fighting through beautifully on their map pick here. 7 on the board, and they could be on a path to at least make it 8, and a lead on the half.
Yeah, that is a great round. The fact that they're able to set up a really strong post plan in a 4 versus 3 with the numbers not in their favor, that really sets the tone, sets the precedent that Endpoint can turn rounds on the head even when they're looking lost, looking dazed, right? And, you know, we had 20 seconds on the clock. Bomb still needs to go down. They're in a 4 versus 3 with Sprout having a very decent A-hold. And the fact that they've turned that round, really, really well played. And even as well with Heavy God going in for a rotation and coming up trumps as well, they're essentially have converted something out of nothing. Really well played. I think Max did a good job on the calls there. And of course, in the fragging department too, the kind of the 2 legacy players there of Max and Surreal stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
NertZ having his moments. I mean, all in all, great round. 7-5, 2-round lead extended at Endpoint now looking to probably guarantee a lead at the half as well, with the 8th on the board following round number 13, because the buy and the investment for Sprout has to be minimal. They can't really afford to justify too much. If they really wanted to have gone super overzealous, they could have maybe picked up some Famas's half armor or MP9 half armor and armor, but, you know, what's the point, really, at this sort of stage? So, either way, Endpoint looking very good. I'm impressed. MHL now looking towards mid. Alongside Max and Heavy God, they'll create a little bit of space.
Need to be careful not to go one by one against these Deagles. Sprouts are known for their young talents, of course, but the Eagles can often come into play as well. Magnum MHL take refresh down to 17, the only 5-7 in the round. And yeah, Endpoint, basically they have enough cash now for the end of the half. The last couple of rounds, they're going to be absolutely fine. A chance, as I said, for at least an 8-7, and they could even make it even more significant than that. NertZ finds his kill toward lauNX. Get a chance to, of course, you've had a chance to interview lauNX for your own channel, and he's definitely a lovely guy and has a lot of promise for the future. He doesn't mind being called lauNX or lauNX, as far as we understand. I think he said to you lauNX because he likes.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's like his whole name is off the back. Well, it's partly his name and then just his love for FNX as a player. So
yeah,
the proper pronunciation is lauNX, but he's pretty easy. He's happy to go for a lauNX or a lauNX or whatever pronunciation you go for. He's happy to play in CSGO. He's got some pretty big aspirations as well. He was talking to me saying things like, I think it was in the next 2 years he expects to be playing for FaZe. I mean,
I know, right?
It's pretty. I mean, do you know what? I love confidence like that, right? I really like players who are that young and they've set their marks high. You know, we had a conversation, of course, about the Ents transfer as well, and with that getting blocked, and it's very clear to see for him, the want is to play tier 1. But it's a really good possibility that, you know, Sprout can start to enter those conversations. You got an ex-tier 1 player now IGLing them. He knows all about the system and what's needed to get to that level. And you've got these youngsters who have all been in and around that sort of level. I mean, Zyphon got top 8 air major, for God's sake.
Yeah, and actually, you know, he's just as young as well, which is pretty incredible. You know, he's the one who's had the most progress in his career. And talking of progress, there's a lot of progress gleaned for Endpoint on this round again. MHL again gets himself a pick. Refresh has had a bit of a rough half. We know he's the IGL these days, but he can often step up individually still. He's only 1-10 at the moment. Staehr got taken as well by Surreal. Another good entry from him. He's been solid as a rock so far, being the important frags when they need to come through. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I mean, I myself, I think even before you did that interview, said that lauNX reeks of a future FaZe player in 2 or 3 years to me. We'll have to see, though. Developments, of course, at this sort of level. And sometimes there's an argument that can sometimes be too early. Let's have to see how it goes, though. He's already played at a major, so he's got the confidence. Max will rip his head off in this round. And that gives him so much progress toward A. It's forced rotation over. With 30 seconds to go, Zyphon, what he can really do is plonk that incendiary down around the site, and we'll actually find Surreal playing a little bit over-aggressively on the edge of the pallet there. And CSGO's found MHL as well. Bomb will go down. This shouldn't have been recovered so quickly. They're wary of the flank. I think they know that's going to come through because of Mighty Max's kill earlier on. Heavy God has to get one of these kills here. Look at XELLOW. He's phasing the smoke right now. Who sees who first? Heavy God on the left-hand side now. What a quick scope that is from XELLOW. It's now all down to Max. No HP. Should find the first. It's XELLOW 1v1. Standoff. Smoke versus smoke. Max versus XELLOW. And XELLOW hits both of them. 2 insane quick scopes from him. And that is why Sprout picked up this guy.
Anybody questioning XELLOW, please zip it, just for me, because this guy is the real deal. That is prime proof. That's evidence right there. What a round from him. 2 lightning fast quick scopes. This guy knows exactly what is needed, when to step up, and how to have the big moments. I think he has really come up trumps there. I mean, for Endpoint, you're thinking, take that round, they get 9, a real good opportunity as well for them to even potentially move towards double digits in the first half, which would be a fantastic half on Vertigo. And XELLOW, other ideas. This guy's having a fantastic performance. And especially when you look across the board as well, and maybe seeing, you know, a little bit of a quiet support performance from lauNX. Refresh really having minimal to no impact at all, right? XELLOW 14-8, really stepping up as well, alongside the other 2 youngsters of Zyphon and Staehr. really doing well to just keep their name in the hat, keep within sort of an arm's reach of Endpoint. Yeah, of course, for the T side, a bomb plant and the success they've had in the last few rounds has meant they've got, hey, loads of money to work with. But either way, this final round of the half is very spicy. Can Sprout make it an 8-7 and make it a very interesting affair heading on towards Endpoint CT? We will have to wait and see as the Orcs come out once further, and they're to be forced back off that monitor.
Indeed. Great round from Sprout, of course. Only with one alive, though, so it leaves them not at full strength for the final round of the half, but reminder, that previous round for Sprout could be a huge lifeline, because that was 3v5 and 2v4. And they've pulled it out of the hat somehow. Beautiful stuff. That was a fun one to commentate, and just as fun to watch, I've got to say. MHL looking for the jiggle peek behind the default box, and he sees the helmet. Unfortunately, Refresh is not going to be giving him anything at all. There we go. He finally goes for the peek. Unfortunately, it's lauNX to take NertZ first, as NertZ tries to charge his way up with that information. XELLOW's found his kill toward Heavy God. And Sprout's starting to look a little bit more comfortable here. Staehr needs this frag and gets it. Insta headshot towards Thrill. That's big with the FAMAS. Gets the AK, and he almost takes Max as well. 2v4 for Endpoint. Max and MHL. And they only really have one smoke on MHL. That's the biggest issue, really. XELLOW knows everything. You can hear the footsteps coming up the ramp. Patients are in. Lick is missed from MHL, and the pistol could even come out here for XELLOW. Not sure he knows how low they are, but he's got a free flank whenever he wants to do it. Every single Sprout player is going to be here in a matter of moments. There's XELLOW. It's all down to Max. And he gets found by the Romanian sniper as well. Great into the half from Sprout. And XELLOW is up to 17-8 to end that one off. We'll see if he can continue that after the break.
From the back roads to back streets, I see you foes trying to trap me, but I don't run like a track meet, even though I'm #1 like an athlete. And the way I maneuver around you and through you, I'm coming and I'm bound to pursue you. I'm everything that you knew of, plus more. What's in store is I'm about to get to you. Sleepless nights, better think this twice before you step to me and come and speak with strife. There's a lesson when you reach my life. It'll be chin-checking and I'll teach you right. Plenty tried, plenty failed. Too many times I've seen plenty bail. And there will be no surprise what I'm about to do when you are looking through my eyes. See many go, see many come. See that they won't bring it to me, son. Try me if you want, but won't be any fun. I'll take the challenge, I'll beat anyone.
Welcome back. Second half about to get underway. 8-7 is where we find ourselves right now. It's as even as it can get right now on Endpoint's map pick of Vertigo. But Endpoint now move on to the arguably more preferred CT side of Vertigo. So we're going to see how things pan out. Last pistol round, the first one, NertZ got a 3k to win it out. Can he replicate the same form now Sprout find themselves on the T side?
We'll have to find out, because at the moment, it really, for Sprout to glean these 7 rounds, it's quite often been the Staehr and XELLOW show to recover a couple of these. XELLOW did one single-handedly, of course, you'll remember, on that B site. If you did catch that first half, quality round. He ended off the half, as you say, pretty cleanly as well. So let's see if Endpoint on the CT side can show what they're made of. Heavy God with the first. Staehr firing away with the Glock and does get himself that one. That forces Heavy God away with his P2K. They do have a 4v3. Staehr has control of the sandbags. As I said, that can often be a very hard position to clear out, but MHL finds it instantly. That is a very hard shot to hit, and he's hit it straight away. Refresh goes for a tap on the plant, but NertZ says no immediately. Zyphon fights back, but Heavy God finishes the job. Endpoint taking the CT pistol, and that's now both pistol rounds in their favour. Now they just have to avoid getting force-bought again.
Endpoint love a pistol. They love a pistol. And hey, I mean, I think it's really important. I generally don't think pistols are very important. But what we see from Endpoint is that they are able to kind of use them to catapult just a little bit. The only thing is we look towards the previous pistol where Sprout were able to, off the back of a force buy, turn it back, run in their favor, and then took the initial points of momentum and all the good stuff. The good thing, I guess you could say, for Endpoint is because they've denied really Sprout running away with too much, economic value off the back of that first pistol. No bomb plant and limited the kills, so to say. It's left them with a very minimal buy until round number 17. So thankfully, this one should be relatively free for them to take their 10th here. One has been spotted. Surreal NertZ, they are going to be tested. I don't know if they know how much of a predicament they're in right now. They need to be careful.
Go on, Surreal, get yourself in there with the MP9. He's waiting for NertZ to shoot the first few bullets, and then the MP9 can strafe and have a look for itself. Sprout do have a deagle, at least on Staehr. That is quite literally it. So I think maybe able to see some feet on the railing from that angle. He's holding it as wide as he dares. He's looking for the boost, waiting for it. There's the information. Sees one. He's in the way for the second, but he's got the information. And they won't be able to peek it any longer. Reload comes in, but no risk of being rushed down. Now the MP9 of Surreal has a chance to farm himself his first, as NertZ is there to help out. But NertZ wants some of them as well. Of course, greedy. But the 2B players will get all the kills in the end. 3 for NertZ and 2 for Surreal. So that's that round dealt with. The full eco. Very easy, as you would expect. Now Sprout can go straight on to the rifles. Refresh on the Galil to get the full utility. XELLOW will probably go for the AK as well. There we go. And on a T side now, especially on Vertigo, it used to be T side of this map in its very early stages, but these days a lot more CT, as is every map basically, apart from Anubis. Sprout need a good start here.
No, they do. 3 rounds behind now as well. First 4 by this is the real kind of first full test. Bit of spam coming through from HL. Staehr find the first. Good start. Looking for more as well. Be met with a grenade, in fact, as he dropped a 10 points of HP, and Max wants a piece of the action. MP9 at this sort of range can be, well, match made in heaven. But I think fortunately for Sprout, they throw back at just the right time. It's Surreal looking like he's going to meet a boost just momentarily.
Surreal plays the same angle, and actually Sprout maybe trying to make Endpoint guess that they're not going to go for the boost again after doing it on the full eco. They do go for it again. I mean, despite the 2 young stars of Staehr and lauNX being the walking wounded, they're going to be absolutely fine to get this bomb planted. Refresh right now, bless him, is the designated bomb planter, it seems. He has not been able to get into this game individually at all, but there's always time for him to show up. Doesn't matter if you've got 1 kill in a map, as long as you win the next clutch attempt you have a chance at. He's often been a very good clutch player as Refresh, as of course a lot of you will remember. Classic Galil clutch against Liquid on Inferno. That is a OG one. And his Deagle fire off as well in some very tough scenarios. But it's a different period of his career now, and he's not even that old himself, of course, but IGLing a team as young as this and with this much talent, certainly a bit of a change from Heroic, but he would have learnt from Cadian for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he'll have a lot under his belt just from his years on the Cadian, right? So that's a lot of experience to kind of, be able to kind of siphon yourself off into your own IGLing style. And I think he does have a completely different style as well as an IGL. He's
he does, yeah.
More than happy to kind of allow for the stars to shine and essentially for Refresh just to at times be, cannon fodder, pure support player where you look towards Cadian, for example, obviously does a lot of the AWPing, very, in the thick of it in terms of action-wise, but Refresh is more than happy to allow these stars to shine. If you look at, each individual, the other 4 around him, right, all 4 of them can step up and drop 30 like it's nothing. So you're thinking for him, even though, yes, you look to him now, 1-12, not performing well in the fragging department, he isn't needed to be. It's not his job. It's not his role. So, when you look at things at face value, you don't get the full story. Refresh is doing everything he can to allow for the stars to step up and the stars to get the stats and shine. And I'm sure they know all too well about kind of how impactful he can be in different capacities, right? So,
yeah.
Can't always take things at that face value. 10-8, 2-round lead for Endpoint. Now, of course, MP9 brought to the fray. No hands on Mighty Max. He himself, a similar fashion. Just trying to allow for the real stars to shine with the rifles as he'll do his best with the SMG. Staehr playing with the fire just a little bit. On the other side of that smoke. Nade will be met down mid. Down that way, I say. Bit of damage, not too much.
Yeah, all the nades are very well primed these days, of course, for all the cubbies that they know T-sides tend to enjoy to play. Instead, does go for that opening frag toward MHL, takes it. Once again, falls away with a sliver of health. Not considered to be deployed for Heavy God, and somehow he even takes even more tags to that molly. And Sprout again, they're very interestingly, very speedy at these rotations. We know it's a small map in general between the 2 sites, but they're very happy to go back toward B very quickly in these sort of scenarios and keep Endpoint guessing, because of course, as everyone knows who's played Vertigo, you can hear the running underneath the map as you stand above it. So it's going to have to be an information play for Endpoint here. Heavy God and Max walking down ramp, but Zellow's still waiting, and it's the perfect crosshair placement. Headshot on Heavy God, and they're going to check the corner as well. Max gets himself the one, but only that one with the SMG. Sprout at the moment, this is a bit of a genius T-side. They just need to convert against NertZ and Surreal here.
Timing is going to be everything. I think they should be absolutely fine, though. Zyphon's got so much space to work with, every angle cleared. The 2 remaining for Endpoint, the second this bomb goes down, I think they're going to make a pretty immediate decision probably to keep hold of those M4s. There's just no world in which they can make a retake work here. Despite the low HP over towards Sprout, it's just not going to work. The numbers don't favour them. Utility doesn't look great either. You're banking on 1 nade for Surreal too. Can they get exits? lauNX, other ideas. Nice shot from him. Dropping NertZ. And leaves all down to 1 man. Surreal, he is being hunted too. This is going to be pretty dicey for him. Can he stay alive? They're going to converge his position momentarily. I think he'll just about get on the dodge. Zyphon's going to be the only real test he has to pass. If he gets past that, he should be fine. Barrel spotted. And he's done for this well. Zyphon, other ideas. Great round for Sprout. 4 remain alive. They are within reach in this. It's just 1 round the difference. Endpoint off the back of the pistol. We're hoping it'll be a good start for them. Sadly, not looking too comfortable just now. They should be. Sprout on a real good resurgence to tie this one up. I mean, the money isn't flourishing towards Endpoint. Only really Max, who had about 5k. Heavy got at about 3. They've got to drop for a save again, especially if Max wants to pick up an AWP to drop over towards MHL next round. Just keep hold of the cash, boys. So this does mean that essentially Sprout should find themselves tying this game up 10-all.
Yeah, it's a great recovery. And, despite the fact that, of course, the last 2 rounds were very well organised, strategically, I will say that it has kind of... Oh, Heavy God. It has kind of come down to the fact that a couple of these scenarios have been very close, aim-wise. Full peak, and now it starts to get a little bit worrying, but Refresh now has finally got some eco flags to build up his confidence to work with. Any Endpoint player is actually above 40 health, but Sprout is making this one way, way too expensive. Sure, the money in the last round that they built up is fine, but either way, Endpoint can absolutely justify at least with Max and Surreal, going in for either exits to remove one of the last two players or just going for it straight up. Because they're buying next round anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on, especially send that Deagle. I think sending the AK may be slightly risky, but I guess, like you said, they can actually just buy in towards the next. They are trying to make something work here. lauNX force into the open, but NertZ will fall. No way, and they actually give this a go. I thought it was just trying to make it expensive. All will fall anyway. And yes, they got money to work with in towards the next, but hey, I mean, Sprout, that was made way more expensive than it should have been.
It was messy. Yeah, very messy. Just straight up, I mean... Had a push with the pistols and had a quad peek, which is good, right? But Sprout, for me, in my eyes, hung around for a bit too long.
Realistically, that should have been Sprout, you know, 4, maybe even 5 staying alive, just getting that bomb down comfortably and rotating off earlier. I think the mid-round call was maybe a little bit late, and it actually ends up costing them just a little bit. I mean, of course, yeah, they got money to work with, but always have to look in a little bit more of a long-term sense, and that's where you do get a little bit nervous, just a tad. They're going to come through momentarily. Mighty Max might do a bit of damage, of course, there, but it shouldn't be too problematic. Aware. Now he definitely is. Both of them come through. He knows all too well that he's tucked in here, and a spray from Heavy God won't find too much success. All died square. A 10-all trap. I would say, arguably, this is one of the most important rounds we've seen so far.
For sure. Money broken, of course, on Endpoint. So that full eco. Well, they did get some kills, which helps them with some of the extra pieces of utility in this round. Still only on a FAMAS on Max. Not the best, and of course he's been tagged down low as well. Sprout to try and, weird to say, but steady the ship after that previous round, which shouldn't have been as expensive as it was. Yeah, who's going to take the lead? That is a big question. It's a bit of a standoff at the moment between these two. Zyphon, he's creeping through mid though. Really good timing, but NertZ checks it at exactly the right time. Zyphon saw an opening, went for it. It gets plugged very quickly. Max is still here with the FAMAS, adjusts brilliantly to find Staehr. But he will get traded instantly, and NertZ has been found by lauNX in the meantime as well. 2 still for Endpoint, and MHL now is showing up at exactly the right time. I think it's the first time we've really seen him with the AWP on the CT side work perfectly. Now XELLOW 1v3, doesn't check the right angle. MHL fell back just as XELLOW was advancing, and that means XELLOW did not pre-fire the right position, and Endpoint stopped the rot.
Needed. I think, you know, if Sprout find that success there, right, we're looking at Sprout on 11, with once again Endpoint's economy in a bit of a dire state, and you're thinking maybe this is even the beginning of the end, kind of that red carpet, man, I say, being rolled out towards overpass, and you start to get very concerned about whether Endpoint can make this work in their favor. Thankfully, we're alright. Pause to be called by Sprout, and they themselves know they're in a slight predicament in the sense that Endpoint are starting to get confidence under their belt. They're starting to look a little bit more comfortable as well in terms of denying that T-side aggression. And once Endpoint get comfortable and confident, that's when you get worried. I think your best bet, I think with Sprout, with these youngsters, they never really kind of feel uneasy, just that they're so young and so cracked, right, that are always chilling. But for Endpoint, with the experience they've got, I always think they're a side that if you want to beat them, you've got to beat them in a more mental capacity rather than kind of physically in the server. You know, beat them down mentally, make sure they're kind of, you know, fatigued and really feeling rough, and that's when you can overcome a side like Endpoint. But if they get comfortable and confident, I think they're a very difficult team in Tier 2 to beat, and we've seen it before, right? We've seen these guys pull off some monstrous defeats. Like, we look back to Pro League Season 16, took down Na'Vi. That map on Ancient was some wonderful Counter-Strike.
It's crazy,
Sprout,
isn't it?
they need to pause. They need to make sure that they can do something about this. lauNX, that is a risky peak, my friend, but he will just about get out of dodge.
Little jump peek to see if anyone's actually on the railing on the left, and he got his answer. XELLOW climbing the flash off the roof of the ramp to show presence at the bottom of that position. Zyphon boosted up in mid, and this could work out for something. At least work out for control, but at the moment Endpoint actually don't have anyone defending that position. As you can see, NertZ is looking toward window right now. They've left mid open in its entirety. Really well timed. What a time to help out. That's brilliant from NertZ. His teammate was about to drop, and he bails out Surreal. XELLOW did take Heavy God in the meantime. A good frag to take, but NertZ is doing even more work, this time waiting for that flank to come through. Gunbarrel could be spotted here by Max. Not being picked as of yet, though. That's a big headshot from Zyphon. 3v3. 35 seconds to go, and XELLOW creeping toward MHL right now. Who peeks what first? XELLOW still stuck in gap. MHL will rotate toward the most common position, and oh my goodness, what is that from MHL? XELLOW, see you next round, son. Staehr will take NertZ, and MHL just hits the wall bang too. He's here to play his MHL, and that's a 3K.5 from him. What a round from MHL.
Oh, take a bow, MHL. That is bonkers. And this is why we said, do not overlook the likes of MHL, the likes of Heavy God, because at times these youngsters can step up. The new blood in this Endpoint side have revitalized what was looking like at times a bit of a shadow of their former selves. That is sumptuous from MHL. And this guy, he's seriously special. 20 years of age as well. My God, that is just brutal. 19 kills to his name, 91 ADR, and Sprout cowering away from that A site, and I do not blame them.
That's unreal, right? Because I really thought then XELLOW was creeping through gap, that he would actually have the timing on MHL, but as that smoke comes down, that's when he falls back to a double stack, then just hits the inexplicable quick scope smoke bang, and then hits the wall bang of the player on the site too. Knew where the last player was. Gorgeous 3K. Absolutely adore that. Now it's going to be a free round for Endpoint with Sprout on no money at all. This nade should be a touchdown. There it is. Heavy God with 2 more. MHL with 2 to add to his tally as well. 21-12. Top fragger in the server. Endpoint showing up when they need to most.
It's lovely stuff, isn't it? Endpoint made a bit of a gap now between themselves and Sprout at 3 rounds, but 3 rounds is all they need to see off their map pick and go into overpass with a bit of, renewed confidence in their mental game right now. Things are looking very good. This is a test for them to really see if they got it in them to see this one off. Full buy once again out for Sprout. Take this one down. They get up to 14. And on top of that, they destroy that T-side economy once again. And NertZ starting off nicely for 1. Damage on towards the second, but Zyphon quick on the trade. Numbers brought level. The HB already started to dwindle just a tad towards the T-side.
Yeah, NertZ would be calling that he's dinked to Zyphon as well. He definitely heard that. So, one more player low will be the call. Or V4. I'm going to make the way up the ramp. It's completely telegraphed, and MHL now is actually holding the edge of that smoke as it stands. 1 minute to go. But have plenty of time to make their mind up here. Zyphon will surely be the player to go in first, as of course he is that low player. He doesn't have the bomb on his back though, and that's a problem. And MHL, even while blind, he's hitting everything at the moment. Warpers can have streaks like this, can't they? Everything goes their way, and that molly is spreading on refresh as well. 34 health to spare. 3v4 to hold off. Hits on 3 of the 4 Endpoint players, and all 4 are coming from the same position from the CT side. Now 2 from Heaven and 2 from Connector. Dodge towards sandbags will force XELLOW wide. Has to hit the tap, but can't make it happen. And MHL is hitting absolutely everything right now. It's Staehr and refresh. If ever there was a time for refresh to step up, it would be now, but they find every single one of them. And Endpoint will get the defuse in time and reach 14.
MHL just isn't missing right now. This guy is on lightning form. I mean, oh my gosh. Unstoppable right now. And again, it goes back to what we were saying about when you let a player like him or like NertZ get confident, they're unstoppable. And MHL right now, the confidence is flowing through those veins. He is loving life in the server. Yes, Sprout, get a bomb plant, and in most cases it gives you some money to work with, but actually looking over towards that T side, and there's a very good reason why they've gone for a pause. Not only that they've just lost a round, but it's the, how do we now play what is looking like the latter stages of this map? Do we try and force by here into what it could be the penultimate round of this map, right? And full buy in as much as we can. Maybe pick up Galil's full armor, or, you know, AK half armor if you want utility. It's pretty grim. Or do we go for a low buy and play for overtime? It's a really horrible scenario. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to be, you know, Berry or Refresh having the conversation here about how we want to play this, because either way, there's risks ensued. But they actually are going to go for what is essentially the low buy option, aside from Zyphon. Hero AK for him, which means fail this, they'll be forced into a brutal buy in the next for Zyphon individually. It's a horrible scenario. A lot of reliance on the youngster. The ex-Copenhagen Flamesman has to step up and come up with some huge kills here.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily have exactly what he wants either. Mitchell, again, lauNX will drop.
Clean.
Nothing wrong with this setup at all, is that it's a perfect to defend against what could be a quick play. Counter flashes are really spot on as well. Just continue to hold Sprout at bay. MHL and Surreal defend. Surreal very confident, holding that headshot angle with the boost to come in. Finds that frag comfortably. Now XELLOW, the man without the armor, has to pick up the AK. Surely he will swap that over to Staehr. There it is. Endpoint are creeping toward a finish line right now. And on their map pick, it's certainly something they needed. Overpass coming up next is a bit of a home for Sprout at the moment. Maybe spotted exactly where Max is playing from, but he's going to have support in a matter of moments. Heavy God's already toward double stack anyway. MHL creeping up from connector. Actually, both kills come through, which is pretty disgusting. That means Heavy God has to play a little bit more defensively. Staehr is walking forward into a crossfire, and they do manage to deal with both of them. Nice shots, but it's only the 2 of the 5. Endpoint will reach map points.
Yeah, you know, it's consolation kills. That is all it is. Just consolation to lead them into what is looking like now a very brutal situation. Do Sprout maybe pop their last tactical pause? They've got one in the wings, but it's looking like no, they're just going to go straight in towards this one. Full buy coming out. Of course, Zyphon fully bought in towards the previous one, which means they've only got half armor and 0 utility in towards what potentially could be the final round. What a performance from Endpoint, though. They have really shined today so far in towards map number 1. This second half has been stellar as the individuals have really stepped up to the plate. Speaking of, one of them, the main one, MHL, 4 points of HP. That Molotov, hot at the feet, my friend. Get out of the dodge, and he does. Who's coming through? Refresh. Allow for an elevation to come forward, no. But the Molotov does a bit more damage itself.
Fire does hurt. You tend to stand in it. MHL. Only 4 HP to spare, but he might not need any more than that. He has the AWP after all. 1 shot, 1 kill. We've seen plenty of that in this game so far. It's great flank from Zyphon, though. One more player to volley down. They know he's here, and they do spam him down. Well played, Sprout. They're going to be staying alive in this one. Unless Endpoint hit a pretty ridiculous retake. Surreal has 10.7 grand. Heavy got his 8.5 as well. 8.2, sorry. But with Staehr taking max on that lurk, I think that might just call off the retake, especially with MHL on 4 HP. If that lurk kill didn't come through, I think maybe a full HP max with Heavy God might have given that a glance, considering I think they would have known they've done some decent damage to lauNX and Refresh. But either way, don't need to throw everything in just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the other side as well, maybe one of those things of just making sure another AWP doesn't get dropped over. I mean, we don't very rarely see a double AWP setup on the T side, but we know it can be wielded if they really want to. I'm going to go for a lauNX. Does he have a little peer in? Heavy God might get a freebie here. Oh, hello. Okay, maybe shot the gun slightly earlier than would have hoped. No, they'll be alright. Sprout to 11, so they are still alive in this one. There's still definitely some fight left in them, but as we've already mentioned, they are playing for overtime. That's what they need. One hiccup, and that'll be enough for Endpoint to see off this map. Sprout have to be flawless from here on out. There is no room for error. And actually, off the back of that, Endpoint are going to go for their 4th and final tack pause. And I think it's probably not a bad time to call it either. They do have money to work with. They have a buy coming out, but long term is where we start to get a little bit on the more struggling side. I mean, MHL, Surreal, they're chilling. Plenty of cash in the pocket. The rest of the team not as comfortable. So if Sprout start to find a bit of momentum, get that snowball effect under their belt, you really do start to get worried that maybe the call of overtime is actually more of a possibility than we initially would have anticipated. Either way, quick chat. Time for the likes of Mighty Max to rally the troops a little bit. See what he can provide heading into round number 27. Is this going to be the final round, or does Sprout continue to see another day on Endpoint's map pick? Of course, Overpass is coming up next, and if we need it, Inferno is our decider. Sprout aren't done here just yet, it seems.
We've had some long games over this conference bracket, so I would not be surprised to see a decider in this game, especially if Endpoint do take this one. I'm confident in a Sprout Overpass, but of course that is yet to be seen. Endpoint will get one kill closer thanks to Surreal. lauNX will go down. Not had the best of games going by his standards. Really been more Staehr of the three young riflers. And of course XELLOW has had 2 or 3 incredibly impactful rounds, especially on CT side. But MHL has seemingly silenced the majority of them on this CT side of his. One of the best performances I've seen from MHL, and I've watched a lot of Endpoint recently.
Been loving what he's doing with the big green in hands. What about Boldman's law here, though? He's going to keep hold of it. I think you can probably understand why. He's been pretty phenomenal so far. Rocking hard plays though. Pop shot coming through. We'll just get another dodge. Not much longer though. Staehr double down. He sung his praises. But the Molotov denies the bomb in the default plant. Now, retake coming through, but Zyphon's in the back lines. Do they even realize? I don't think so. No one's focusing their attention there. Zyphon should be able to mop him up.
This should be it. Said and done here. Looking for a second. Max will turn around though, so we'll try to finish it off. And in the end, NertZ was going to be there anyway, so it's a good thing that he got that kill while he did. Otherwise, he would have been punished. And this round's still on for Endpoint. Thing is, will they be aware of how much damage they've done? Refresh has picked up the AWP considering he's really low HP. They can somehow flush him out. It's going to be very hard for him to peek on that sniper rifle, but XELLOW's hit the shot. And that should be all said and done. NertZ will tap the bomb, but there's no defuse kit for him, and he will find one on the floor, but obviously way too late. He'll fall away with the AK, and Sprout are battling their way through here. Not even 100 health between the last 3 remaining players. They will glean a 12th.
Yeah, refresh does fall, but overall, doesn't make a difference. They do not mind at all because they are continuing on this road. And this goes back to what we were saying, right? Do not allow Sprout to get the ball rolling. If this snowball effect gets underway, I think overtime becomes actually more of a, you know, a probability maybe than a possibility. Because so far, these guys are looking really confident on the C side. They're starting to get on the way, and this is the important round. This could potentially be the last full buy we see for Endpoint. Fully invested, but the economy in the more long-term sense is pretty dire. Heavy God just on the right-hand side of Yellow for his view, waiting. Molotov forcing off the angle. Sprout taking a much slower approach here. Not as aggressive as they usually have in these last couple of rounds, but I think it's good to change up the tempo just a tad.
Indeed. I'll have to keep doing a few different things with Endpoint in the position they're in. The stairs taken. Nothing too aggressive as of yet. Just some presence shown. Zyphon lurking around mid. Looking like he maybe wants to drop down the ladder. Break the glass perhaps. And get some utility thrown. There's a Molotov you can throw from here. And there we go. Bounce off. Goes through the window. Does more on the edge of gap. There it is. Plenty of utility that can be thrown in that particular position. And Max has actually been forced wide. That's a really, really nice bit of combination play there from Sprout. So he will get his 1 kill, but he was very low, and lauNX only needed 1 bullet to trade him. But NertZ will find Zyphon. There's still 2 players here. Oh, MHL! He didn't realise that lauNX was pushed up so far forward, but NertZ swings beautifully. The big man of Endpoint stepping up at the right time. He needs his kill, but can't find it. What a headshot from Staehr. And now they know exactly where NertZ was playing. Bomb is rotating toward A. 20 seconds to go. NertZ. He was heard, but now he's gone to the opposite bomb site. He's guessed wrong. And we're staring in an advanced position. XELLOW being given a chance to get into an afterplant spot with his AWP. This clutch for the map is very difficult indeed. Of course, he does have that kit now. And he's got a smoke too. But he needs to predict where Staehr's playing from to give him a chance against XELLOW. Does he look for it? He doesn't. Perfect crosshair placement from Staehr and Neo. I do not know how they fought out of that one.
Honestly, I think this is now more or less, in my eyes, starting to confirm the idea about overtime. Endpoint struggling to see off this game. They are struggling to close it out. I think mentally they're defeating themselves more than Sprout are in the server. This is getting very dire. You look over towards what was going to be the penultimate round of regulation. It just has to be a low buy call here by Endpoint. They cannot afford to overinvest in towards this if they want any chance of taking it. But at the moment, the best we're opting and expecting from Endpoint is a 16-14. I can't see a world in which they convert this. Low buy coming out, Deagle, CZ, P250s. It's not great, and it's not a great start. As refresh the IGL, open things up with NertZ to fall. Heavy got P2K in hands. At this sort of close range. Damage maybe, but I can't expect them to find a kill.
Endpoint paid by the round, perhaps. Seeing the last few days. Goodness me. And yeah, I have to say I really do like that round from Sprout. Sure, they got a little bit lucky that Staehr got that kill when he had his back turned to Heavy God. But either way, the way they managed to force the opening kill from Staehr with that Molotov from Zyphon above ladder, that was a really nice one. Forced him wider. They are clearing this one up comfortably. They know MHL was last alive toward this position. They're going to be wary and careful. It's pushed up a little bit further than perhaps Zyphon and lauNX were expecting, but ZELLOW staring at it. And there is the headshot. Great rifler on his own right. ZELLOW, I think one of my two favourite clips actually from ZELLOW when he was on Ecstatic was actually with an AK rather than with the AWP. But
okay,
he's quality with whatever weapon. But he's going to need to stay quality, as with all the rest of his team, for one more round to grind it back to OT. Here is the buy now. MHL has his AWP. It's now or never for Endpoint.
If it goes to overtime, I totally lean the other way. Pop shot comes off the back of the flash.
Yeah.
MHL will just get out of dodge. This is getting really dicey. Sprout have done a stellar job to get to where they are now, to turn this map. Back in the day, we were at 50, was it 59? 15-10, I can't remember.
Definitely 15-10. I remember if it was more than that.
But we have seen ridiculous showing from Sprout to get to where they are now, and I think confidence might even be enough for them to push it to OT. They have been looking really good. Where Endpoint are struggling to see this one off, and they'll kick themselves. If this goes to OT and they lose, they'll kick themselves. They had 5 opportunities to see off this map. Yeah, that's going to open it. Quick take him through. NertZ is doubled down, and he can't. That might be it.
lauNX has been, by his very exacting standards, very quiet in this game, but that headshot to get that quick trade kill with 2 HP to spare might just push his team to OT. Zyphon coming in from the flank as well, deals with his player. And Heavy God and Max have a nightmare in front of them. They have a smoke, but no kit picked up. And look at Sprout's positioning. They have one player on either side of the generator to check both angles, and Staehr deals with Heavy God immediately. It's all down to Max. He gets caught in the smoke, and that is a brilliant recovery from Sprout on that T side, grinding it out. And we will go to OT and a very quick break before we get it underway. And we are back for OT between Endpoint and Sprout. I mentioned before this map, Neo, that Endpoint do like to make things hard for themselves sometimes, and guess what? They are doing it again. They've let Sprout recover this situation, and now it's anyone's game. And don't forget, 12.5k overtime as well in this tournament, which is the happy medium, as how I like it. This could go either way.
It's just spicy, but I think Endpoint, like I was saying, if this game, if it goes, or if this map goes in favor of Sprout, Endpoint will really kick themselves. They were 15-10 up. It was, you know, looking like it was dead in the water, done and dusted, and they failed to see off what was and should have been their game. And lauNX will kickstart things brilliantly at just a Mach 10 for him, but it works for the first.
Incredible, yeah. I was about to mention the buy. I mean, I mentioned the money, of course, with the 12.5k OT start money, which I do like, but lauNX choosing the Mach 10, choosing to go fast and fast like he loves it. Gets himself that opening kill, and XELLOW got one as well, but MHL responds immediately. Actually took a tag to XELLOW. XELLOW might be a little bit upset that he hits the tag, but not the frag onto his counterpart. 3v3. Bomb only just sitting toward the B stairs. NertZ is here. Resmoke will come in. Headshot needs to be hit, and it's a nervy one. It should do some damage. It does. It chips Zyphon down to 70 now. Of course, they don't have much information on mid. Now they'll know as Surreal is wandering back in, that position is safe. And Sprout are making their way back toward A. Right now it is the correct decision for sure. Because only MHL resides here. He is, though. I say only. He's had so many good rounds in regulation. Back to double stack he goes. We've already seen 1-6 play from this very spot, in this very game, and this very position. He is burning, though, and has to play aggressive. And in the end, Zyphon's position is perfect. Stops the advance. Bomb will go down. Zyphon holds the line of that as well, and he deals with Surreal too. Great stuff from Sprout. NertZ will find that smoke on the floor, but he's 1v3. Has to find all three positions. There's a crossfire already in place here with Refresh towards back to play on the site. Refresh switches round, finds him, and now Sprout, after their big deficit, have the lead.
And it all started with lauNX and a Mach 10.
Yeah.
That's what kickstarted things. Not often in a 12.5k OT do you see a Mach 10 as the investment of choice, but hey, it works, so I can't really fault lauNX at all. I mean, especially since he's been a little bit on the quiet side. To have, you know, a gun that maybe gives you a little bit of confidence, the running gun ability. That's what he wants. He'll take it. Now, of course, an AK brought in towards this one. With that money, you know, Endpoint, they themselves have cash to invest in with. A great start for Sprout. They have really started to find momentum, confidence. MHL peeking in, finding the first. An important kill. Staehr. The Stoic core dropped early doors. That's an important one. The impact fragger so far for Sprout. Down and out for the count.
XELLOW, lauNX, and Refresh up as a trio. Reaching his back and realise that HeavyGod is still toward that position. Usually, when a man disadvantage on Vertigo, most common play is usually an A execute. Try and get the smokes up, try and get the bomb down and play the afterplant, which can be so hard for the CTs to recover, especially if they've burned their utility. But as you can see right now, Sprout are just desperate. Endpoint to go hunting somewhere, sitting in a default. But there's no need to do any of that if you are UK side. Most static I've seen. Everyone in the whole game so far waiting for the time to pounce. And we'll move back up the ramp now. Just the pause makes Endpoint maybe consider the fact it could be B. But if you look where NertZ is through the X-ray there, he has pushed quite far up toward B. So Endpoint should have a lot of information that it is still going to be an A play. Now with 20 seconds to go, it has to be. NertZ is pushed all the way through, and he could have a fast flank coming in here. You know, he might know that with 4 players remaining, there wouldn't be a lurker waiting to deal with him. And again, the smokes are up. As I mentioned, bomb can go down. It's going down on the left-hand side of the site as we look as well. That leaves Refresh in a bit of a tough position. Up against the fall to his doom. MHL tagged down to 7 HP. That makes it basically a 4 versus 4.5 now. MHL has that smoke, which could go onto the bomb. There are 3 kits in play. Zyphon gets his 1, but MHL does trade it on that low HP. But Refresh still here in position, spotted by Max though. And NertZ has found XELLOW too on that big flank I mentioned. lauNX needs the kill, gets it, but he can't switch around for the second. There is... Oh, I was going to say, there is a defuse kit on the bomb. I think MHL is absolutely certain he's got it, but it's going to be very close. He does not. They did not get a defuse kit on the bomb, and that, as they say in the field, is a blunder.
And to make it even worse as well, both Heavy God and NertZ had defuse kits. They actually probably could have got on and maybe just have got it. I mean, even then it would have been close, but the fact that he got on and there was what I think it was like 8 seconds, 8.5 seconds to the bomb going off. That's brutal to watch. I mean, that's a mistake that is extremely costly. And funnily enough, actually, off the back of it, Sprout are going to cause for attack pause. I mean, you'd think for them with their momentum at the moment, they are absolutely chilling. They're really doing well. I mean, of course, that round, a little bit of fortune does favour them, but overall, they've been able to get themselves into these post-plant scenarios more often than not. And this is also what we saw in regulation too, where for Sprout, it's, you know, the great ability to find opening kills, get the numbers advantage in their favor, and then use that to, you know, get yourselves into those post-plant scenarios is what's netting them so much success on their T side. I think for Endpoint, they are starting to fall quite flat on what was actually their stronger side of the two, in my opinion. Their CT side looked a lot more convincing. Granted, a lot of it came off the back of MHL's individual prowess, but even still, mate, be careful. Speaking of careful, Surreal nearly gets caught in transition. Will just be okay, but Refresh with the smoke will find one. It started to crumble already, and this is a quick take over towards the B side, but NertZ other ideas. Quick trade by Zyphon, and the bomb should go down.
Sprout aside. Okay, it's W time. And it completely catch Endpoint off guard in that one. Surreal has to put a smoke down, but as he tries to fall back, Refresh just guesses his movement and plays it perfectly. Staehr rotating the bomb in absolutely safely here. 4v3. Still a dangerous round. Have to be careful here, Sprout. But they've managed to glean a wonderful opportunity for a T-side clean sweep in OT. Nice shot MHL. That gets his 30th frag of this game. And Max does have a flank coming in, but lauNX has that basically dead to right. It's holding a very difficult angle to clear out. Now, I don't know exactly where he is, though. Pulls up the flash at possibly exactly the wrong time. That's a bit of a nightmare, but XELLOW switches around beautifully to take him down. Smoke to block off XELLOW, and a good nade as well takes XELLOW down to 6 HP, but Zyphon gets his kill, and MHL is last alive, found by Zyphon, and the clean sweep is a reality. Sprout need just 1 to take the map.
That is huge. 18 to 15 Endpoint. What a choke this has been. Remember, we were at 15 to 10 in favor of Endpoint, and now look where we stand. That's 8 consecutive rounds for Sprout to get to this stage. I mean, you've just got to commend their ability to really grab a hold of the reins of a game and completely direct it in their favor. I mean, the way in which we're seeing them dictate the tempo, the pace of the game, completely outplay Endpoint. It's a bit of a masterclass. I think Refresh, while he may not be fragging that well, the calls have been excellent, mid-rounding perfectly, and that plus W play to really find themselves up to 18 it's a bit of genius. It's a massive risk, but he's going to put that risk on his shoulders and roll with it. Worked wonderfully, and of course it was him who opened up that site as well with that frag on towards Surreal. So far so good, but Staehr will fall. Surreal finds the first despite being flashed. Zyphon wants to go aggro. Against him! The quick switch nearly costs Heavy God his life. Fortunately, he can pull out the AK in time.
That is a true heartstopper for Heavy God. Goodness gracious me. That is always one of the most embarrassing ways to go down. You just know you should never be quick switching in that sort of position. lauNX has got a second low HP player to deal with here, and that's a lovely second kill. Back into a 3v3, and MHL can only tag him. About half his health now. XELLOW's in the action as well, and the bomb is dropped on the site. No longer in control of Endpoint. It's Heavy God and Max to recover the situation. Refresh is here up close as well. The Molotov might clear out lauNX from that position, but he has a smoke to keep them at bay. It's all fallen apart for Endpoint. And who knows how different the end of this overtime may have been if Heavy God was the player allowed to defuse on that round 8-1 in inverted commas. It's Refresh to get one and lauNX to finish it off. What a comeback from Sprout. I'm pretty sure now that's around 9 rounds in a row to recover that one from 15-10 to 19-15. Wow.
Endpoint, I've got to ask a lot of really, really difficult questions to themselves heading in towards this next map, because that they never should have lost that. We're talking 15-10, Endpoint have got 5 rounds to see it off, and then they just completely choke. And you do see this right at times, right? You see sides get so close to the finish line, and then they just take their foot off.